Well, happy opening NFL season weekend, September 10th. Always an interesting date for me to remember. I was watching the September 2001 Monday Night Football game between the Giants and Broncos in Montreal at a little hotel. It's called the Hotel Casabella. It's a really cool Euro-style hotel. I imagine a lot of folks remember that game, being that it was the last one for a while after the events of the Tuesday immediately following that game. Don't know if any of you were surprised by the opener on Thursday, Bills-Rams. Maybe it was a shock, maybe it wasn't. Good start for the Bills. Our friends Ange Caniglio, remember the AFL, and Ken Crippen of the PFRA and the Football Learning Academy are Bills fans, so good on them. I hope they're enjoying the victory here. You know, looking back to the 2001 season on this date, I wasn't actually involved in APBA at the time, and so I wasn't even aware of all the kind of drama surrounding the company at the time, So I think it's worth, I always like to go back and kind of walk people through a bit of the history of the game, because there are those gaps. And let's face it, when you have a game with the legacy of APBA football that goes back to the 1957 season, came out in 1958, as a 1959 edition, well, there's a lot of history to cover and a lot of concern and queries about, can I use these cards with these boards, et cetera, et cetera. So it's kind of illustrative to look back on that September 2001 Monday night game that the Broncos won. Wasn't really rooting for anybody. I mean, being that I lived and still live in kind of the Meadowlands region, the Giants were certainly the hometown team, and that all came into clearer focus in the days immediately after that game. But let's go back a little bit before that 2001 season to look at what was happening with APBA football. Now, as I say, the first game came out in 1958 with the 1957 season. There were new iterations that came out, starting with the 65 season and new boards, 72 season and new boards, the 82 season and the master game boards. And then in 1994, as the company was navigating a new decade and the loss of the founder Dick Seitz, a wise decision, I think, was made to repackage the game, at least football. All of the games were repackaged. Get the hockey and the basketball up here in these kind of boxes, smaller boxes, thicker, but more compact, and these were geared toward retail sale as well. And the cool thing about it is that they stripped down the master game that had been out for a few years, and they made it a lot more palatable by getting rid of master game elements like the screenplay, the draw play, 3 wides, 2 tights, full house backfield, nickel and dime options. Basically, is you're going to key your runner or receiver, and you're going to have your bread and butter plays, to wit, your outside and inside runs, your long pass, your medium pass, and your short pass, and your place kicking and all punt, special teams, all that good stuff right there. So really compact, color coded. The green means good gain, red no gain, yellow TBD. And you can see the injury chart, which has remained the same for a good long time. The position designators and the penalty chart, which has been greatly expanded. And that was even index of contents there. Really nice, really compact. I got to be honest with you, I prefer boards. The connected charts and things, well, let's just say I'm not really a fan. I'm taking actually a new look at how to maybe reorganize the outside of the master charts. So I kind of pulled my master game book apart. I think you're looking at the play result, or you're looking at the type of play, not necessarily the position on the field. I get it. It sounds like it makes sense to organize it by that way. But in any case, looking forward and looking back. So that's what happened with 94, 95, 96, and 97 seasons. Everything looked great. nice tight package, good solid board there, you know. Looks good, feels good, plays well. And then, come 1998, the 99 issues of the APBA Journal noted that the company was not going to produce a 98 football set. And so it was up to the AJ and the fans. In fact, a cover story for the April 25th, 1999 issue indicated that, yep, it's up to us, AJ and fans, to produce a 98 football products. And in fact, starting with the October 15th, 99 edition, you see at the top of the page, complete in this issue, 1998 quarterbacks and kickers. Now, of course, the 1998 season set 1998 season set has since been released officially by the company. I haven't looked to see if it's a straight lift. I know Greg Barrett played the 98 set out of the APBA Journal and a full season replay. Well, at least I recall that. And I don't know if he's done it with the official 98 reissue. Like I say, I haven't looked at the look to see if it's the current set is a complete lift from the 98 set. One imagines there might be some recalculation and repointing of the players there. And so, 98 season, crisis averted. And in 2000, we see a really cool idea. The big green box, the 2000 edition. These, you can still get them. You should be able to get these for about $20. Don't pay more than that. There are a lot of them floating out there. It's the kind of a dark looking scheme, but really cool. You got the little team logos and team names. They really went all out. It's the first time you see the generic sets, or the generic cards rather, which I'm not a real fan of. I think a lot of people are not fans of that either. You know, they just released the 2015 season, not as the truncated set, but the jumbo set with all the cards, because even though some people swear that you don't need all the cards, we like to have all the cards for various reasons. Hey, don't take it from me, take it from Jason Graham. He even just said, you know, he'd have a bunch of platoons. I mean, I always used to want those 1s and 2s. I'd just use them if I ever had an injury on a kickoff or a punt return, whatever. You know, that's, it's just good to have them around, all those cards. So with a 99 set, you know, you see nice green backs and the color scheme there and the team logos, full color and all. You even had a Pro Bowl set, which was just the AFC, NFC, and you can see that video. I'll link to that at the end of this, where it was a very small chart. You had one run chart, one pass chart, and you could look up pass results on either the quarterback's card or the receiver's card. It was really, I thought, an interesting take on things. That ultimately didn't pan out, but you know, the company was trying. They were, you see that the AFC team dividers are in red ink, and the NFC is in blue ink. So nice little designations like that. And just like it was basically, in terms of the results charts, a lift from the 94 to 97 season basic results. And what those results are essentially is they took, apparently, the master game results from the 82 to 93 seasons, those last of the big white boards, and where you'd have, say, an outside run, you'd have a gain of 8 yards in the first and third quarter and 6 yards in the second and fourth quarter. They boiled that down to one result of 7 yards, say in the B index standard line between your 15-yard line and the opponent's 31, something like that. That's, you know, based on our casual glances through the boards over the years. That's essentially kind of what they did. They boiled it down. So fewer result options, but, you know, good playing game, coded, you know, the cards are calculated pretty much the same, and you can use these cards, the brand new cards, with those results. That, you know, the basic board, you know, this 2008 book that came out with that redesign, where's the copyright here? I'm not a fan of the connected books, I gotta tell you, but that's okay. 2008 copyright. Again, the basic, you know, you just have a, you know, one column of results as opposed to the 2 columns of results. So you can kind of just, you know, boil that down from the master game results and get a basic chart. And so things were looking good for the 2000 edition, and then 2001 rolls around, and there's more drama in the offing. To wit, the company was not going to print the cards per the APBA Journal. In fact, the according to, let's see, the October 31st, 2002 edition of the APBA Compendium, which was the follow-on to the APBA Journal when Francis Rose bought the APBA Journal and Eric Naftali continued with the APBA Compendium. Halloween, not a really great issue date. Cover story, baseball, football season's on the way. The 2001, well, actually, wait, we have to go back to the 2000 issue. I'm sorry, I skipped over one thing. The 2000 season, that's right, it's in the Halloween issue of 2001 of the APBA Journal, the 2000 football set was posted online. The company, yes, was not printing the cards, and in fact, decided they would release the cards that they calculated on appastadium.com. They released them to the website late September, as promised in last month's APBA convention. This is October 31st, 2001. The cards are created using Brian Davis's card printing utility, and they are stored in 4 Excel files collected and compressed into a download called NFL 2000 Zip. It can be reached from the APBA site's homepage and available free of charge. A version in PDF format will be available by the time this is published. In contrast to last year's set, where many players were represented by generic cards, the free download makes it possible to view and print cards for all the players of APBA's roster. So the 2000 set in 2001 was a download. Okay, now that was, I have a hard copy set of it that was issued later in the aughts, in that era of square corners and perforated sets that you had to separate. So, the 2000 edition, like the 98 edition, has eventually seen an official issue. Now you can go over to 2002 and that other Halloween issue, where the 2001 set was actually going to be created by Sports Game Publishing. And like I say, this article appeared on the cover of the October 31st, 2002 edition of APBA Compendium. Now, in the story, under the 2001 football subhead, Sports Game Publishing has been licensed by APBA to produce an official 2001 season football set. Ship date has been announced as November 15th. The set will card 44 players per team, the same number of players that APBA has rated, though never physically carded in the past. No data disc has been announced. So, now what happened ultimately, apparently, when I started really digging into this project in 2011, there was a file floating around with the 2001 cards. It was at Tabletop Sports. I still have the file. I'm sure many people have the file. Fortunately, last year, according to the copyright anyway, 2021, the 2001 set, that pivotal 2001 season, has been released. So you really get the start of that Patriots dynasty there. Got a little red, white, and blue dice here we got from Michigan and Trumbull there, the stadium we got there. Turnbull, rather. So these 2001 cards have been out there in this Excel file, and that file is floating around. I still have mine. It's really not fun to use. It's a cumbersome file. It's a slow file. But you do have all the teams there. So you have your 2001 Broncos, and your 2001 Giants. All the old names, Hilliard and Sehorn, and Collins and Dane. And do I have the last sheet here? Armstead and all that. So you got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sheets there. So you had an option for a while there. fortunately, the 2001 set is back out, and you can, if you happen to remember that Monday night game, play it through. Unfortunately, of course, that McCaffrey's leg was broken in that game, and I think both teams kind of suffered through a malaise. The Broncos finishing 8-8, and the Giants at 7-9. You know, it's interesting. I always talk about kind of a 4-game swing. And you know, Ron Pizar, we talked about, you know, what's the difference between a 6-10 team, a 10-6 team. You know, that range of team outcomes between 4-12 and 12-4. You know, we really try to dig deep into that with floating indexes and all that, but are these teams really that much different, you know? But for 3 games lost by a touchdown or less for the Broncos and 4 games lost by a touchdown or less for the Giants, these two teams could easily have been their division winners. In fact, if you look at the Broncos, they dropped after this 31-20 win on that Monday night against the Giants. They, let's see, lost a 7-point of the Redskins, a 3-point of the Chiefs, and a 7-point of the Ravens. They would have finished 11-5 and been ahead of the 10-6 Raiders. What does a great, you know, record mean ultimately anyway? Because the Steelers had the best record in the AFC at 13-3 and lost to the Patriots at home, and the Brady era was born. We're going to use this little ice cream helmet from 73 or 74 with our red, white, and blue dice for a little, maybe a sudden death match here. Meanwhile, the Giants finished 7-9. They lost a couple really close ones. They lost a 1-pointer to the Rams, a 1-pointer to the Eagles. They lost a game to the Cowboys by a touchdown, and then lost to the Eagles again, 24-21. So there's a 4-game swing there. The Giants could easily have finished 11-5, won their division. They finished 3rd, but they could have won that division. What would have happened is anyone's guess. They have the talent. Now, of course, when you card these teams, you're going to be playing teams roughly probably in the high 30s, very rarely, I think, in the low 40s. But, so, you know, there was some promise there, and I think they're an interesting case of, you know, how you might want to replay. You know, a couple teams that you might want to replay, see if you can get them into, you know, a better position. Now, it's interesting, if you look at these, let's just take the Broncos here and see what we've got here in terms of the cards. Love the ice cream helmet because you got the flat bottom. You just kind of put that right there. Let's put these Giants, we'll move on, we'll put them in the Journal News page. That was my old gang there. And I'll just, you know, I always lose the spot, even though I put a Post-it in it. You know, it's an interesting book, The Pointer Institute. There we go. Yeah, that's our front page that I was designing when I drove racing across the Canadian border to get back into the U.S. before they shut it down. And Ricky Flores took that photo. I'll never forget, he walked in the newsroom covered head to toe in white dust from ground zero there. It was an interesting time to be sure, particularly living in the area. But enough of that for now. Let's take a look at the Broncos here and see what we have in terms of, you know, how accurately this set was created, and by whom it was created, we don't know. The big mystery. Possibly, probably the Brian Davis card creator. Let's just see what we have. We got Terrell Davis there, so we don't have enough room. Let's just see if we can match up some of these folks. Nice, big, thick. Love to have. It's really stressing these envelopes these days, I have to tell you. So let's see if we can find a Lepsis. There you go. Well, the official set puts him at 4 versus this set gave him a 3, so there's an interesting difference. All right, off the bat, let's just see. Dave Neal, far more fleshed out with a V 4-3. So he was given a 4 in this set. He gets a little more nuance. Tom Nalen was a 4, and he remains a 4. Are the numbers the same? Well, now that looks actually, yeah, there are differences here. Some similarities, some differences. That 33s at 41 has changed, for instance, but the 612-9 at 11 and the 498 at 66 is the same. Who else we have? Friedman. Well, we have to go by alphabetically. Yeah. Friedman was a 3. Here's a 3, but he's a 4-3. It's interesting because the V ratings are actually here. I thought they'd been going away to some extent in the newer sets. Teague was a 3, is a 3. They added the FR0 for the fumble recovery for no yards. I kind of ignore that. You know, it's a what if, and let the guy, if he's a big old guy, you want him rumbling down the field potentially with that big old fumble recovery. Rod Smith, 5A asterisk, no-brainer. It's kind of a little typo on the unofficial cards there. And he's a 3.5, 7.9 runner, of course. Looks like you got more 3.5, 7s, and 9s here on the printed set than on this official set. Good old Ed McCaffrey. Well, now here's an interesting thing. Ed McCaffrey is carded. Now this is tricky. Ed McCaffrey is carded in the original, in the current set, but he's not here in the printed set. And he also has, he's an A asterisk 10. Now that's when you look at it, McCaffrey, now he caught 6 passes for 94 yards, 1 touchdown. 3 of those catches were for first downs. He had a long of 28. He was targeted 7 times, so he caught 6 of his 7. He was coming off a great 2000 where he had 101 catches for 1,317 yards, 9 touchdowns, a long of 69. So here's a great what if. Do you play McCaffrey for the entire year? Especially with that the asterisk is got to be a mistake. I mean, it would certainly make sense that it's carried over from the 2000 set if they did a lift from the file. Certainly, you remember kind of that PB would slide over for some folks. I think it was Walter Payton, and Joe Theismann. Some of these oddball codes, PBs and KBs, would linger for a bit before they were removed from a guy's card. But you've got an A10 McCaffrey, A asterisk 10 McCaffrey with 3 points. He's not in the printed set. So really interesting there. Do you use him and let him play the season? I say yes. I say let's go for that. Let's just go through. So there is no McCaffrey card in the printed, that mystery set. Carswell goes back. Well, Carswell. Is there a Carswell? Huh. Dwayne Carswell. Yeah. Carswell was a 3 and a BC. He's a 4 and a BC, a V43. So, we don't have to go through all these. The Broncos have Desmond Clark. He's a 3-point-A. You got Brian Greasy. Fairly decent. Terrell Davis gets the 3 Ks and the 7 2s in the K. You got your Jason Elam there. Tom Ruan. Casper. Chris Cole. You got your Keith Washington on defense. Trevor Price. McLaughlin. Romo. I figure you might be in Neal's got a 4 points card there. Not a whopper of a team there. A lot of extras. So, you can probably do some decent damage. Let's just total them up really quickly here. See what we have with McCaffrey. So at least it's very curious. I wonder. Well, there's always a philosophy. For everyone who's ever carded these sets, there's a philosophy. Let's just count what the 8 and 8 Broncos are playing with here without the V4s or the V ratings. 3, 6, 10, 13, 17, 20, 5, 29, 32, 35, 38. Okay. 38 offense. So that's about right. You can do enough with that. So you start with the defense, again without the B's. That's a 3, 8, 11, 14, 17, 23. Wait, no. Go too fast there. 3, 8, 11, 14, 17, 23, 27, 33, 36. 38, 36. A good middling number for a good middling team. They're not going to put a lot of teams in the C index. You're just going to have to count on a lot of good rolls, but that's going to probably get you an 8 and 8-ish turnout. It's going to have to be very lucky to get more games than that. And then your Giants, again, you got 8, 16, 24, 32. Already there. Well, let's just see what we got. I already organized these cards, I think. Did I? Did I flip them over? Or maybe I did not. I probably didn't. Yeah, see, they're all in alphabetical order. So I'll take a look through these. Kerry Collins, Camella, AB. Tiki Barber's a nice 4. And AB, he's got the 3 Ks, got the 7-2. 7-2's in the K column, the TATBP. Kerry Collins, not the worst, not the best. Camella across. There's Ron Dane. Now he's got the double Ks, but he gets the 4-1 and 3-2 treatment. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4 1s and the 1, 2, 3 2s. V2, 3. Pretty moderately carded here. There'll be a standout here or there, all right? Hilliard, 3-point-A, solid. Jurevicius, 3-point-A, solid. So you can have a decent season with him. You might luck him into a 10-6, maybe. You get him into the playoffs, at least a wild card. You might slip him into the division lead. Who knows? I mean, are you going to do... what are you going to do when you come up against the Patriots or the Steelers, for that matter? That's a good replay for the Steelers. 2001 and 2004, falling to the Patriots at home. Of course, I don't think the Steelers would have beaten the 2001 Rams or the 2004, is it the Panthers in that one? 3 Eagles, 4 Panthers in the Super Bowl. Ron Stone. Stoudemire. Strahan, 5. Right. Big 5, QS 14, FR in the R. He's got a handful of 1s and 7s in that R column there. So, Monty Toomer, solid 4 and A in there. Yeah, you can do some damage. I mean, assuming you don't lose a Toomer who's J2, or Strahan, he's probably known as J1. You're not going to lose him that long. So, Jason Whittle. Punter. So, moderate. Could be a good game. We'll see if we can get a few rolls in here. Maybe we'll just do not the full game. But in any case, 2001, very, very interesting time to recall. But, we'll give them a shot. And do order that 2001 set because, you want to get your Brady from 2001 to 2021, and goodness knows what's going to happen tomorrow. Can't wait to see it. Enjoy the games.